Hi, my name is Ashish Nanda. I am 1981 batch electrical engineering, and I was in Jwala hostel when I was here.
My name is Rakesh Sharma, mechanical engineering, Jwalamukhi Hostel, 1981.
I'm Pradeep Kapoor, 1980 batch mechanical engineering from Nilgiri Hostel.
It was wonderful to come for our Pearl reunion. It was very nice to visit our old haunts and see several new places, meet some of the students here. Maybe our eyes are getting old, or I don't know, the students look so young. I'm sure I must have looked the same when I was their age, but it was such a pleasure visiting with them.
I think the Pearl the reunion is amazing concept, and 35 years is basically, we are at the end of the far end of our career, and you guys are at the beginning of your career, and there's 35-year gap in between, and that's such a long gap because if you look at it, there were 2 world wars that happened during this time, so that's the amount of time that has gone by, and yet it appears as if it was just yesterday that we passed out, and everything is so fresh in the mind.
And I must say that though it is 35 years, but I still miss my 5 years which I have spent at IIT. I still keep getting dreams that I again come to IIT and I am studying something here. And it is wonderful to come here again and meet all see the facility once again and meet young blood who is graduating from IIT now. It was really great.
Maybe it was the time, the age that we were. I have some very sweet and some other, tough memories. But a lot of who I am today, I think, was shaped by my years in IIT. I remember that I came from a small school, and the first experience I had at IIT was how aggressively competitive the place was. It was very, very difficult for me to adjust to that. And I think early on I got into this kind of theme of I have to prove to other people around me that I really deserve to be in IIT. And I think that kind of instrumental thinking really caused a lot of damage to me because I became quite, focused on getting good grades and all, and it sort of lost a lot of personal energy and enthusiasm. But then again, I think interactions with some of my friends and learning from them took me almost 3 years. By my 3rd year, it was like one of my life lessons. I realized that if I truly want to do something, only then I should work on it. Everything else will take care of itself. And it's been a lesson I have followed since then. Do something because I'm passionate about it. If I'm passionate about it, I'll do well. And in fact, it has stood me in very good stead since then. One consequence of that has been life has not been very linear. It's been much more like a river, different experiences. But I can say that those early years in IIT taught me a life lesson about doing things because I truly enjoy them as opposed to just fulfilling expectations or any other instrumental reasons. And I thank the IIT years for that experience.
I think much of what Ashish has said resonates with me also. Those 5 years in IIT were, apart from going through a learning process, were also a period of evolution. Because when you leave school and you come, you are a star, you're a star in the school, you're a star in the class, teachers love you, parents love you, neighbors think very highly of you. And when you land up here, you find that you are a nobody, you are just one speck in a galaxy of stars, And for anything that you do well, there may be 10 guys who do it better on the campus. It's just that you have to go and find them. So that's sometimes a bit traumatic. And the kind of pressure, IIT puts a lot of pressure, so it teaches you how to prioritize things. And for the first time, then when when you have so much of pressure and so many new subjects coming at you, etc., and now you're alone, so you kind of disconnect from the parent pressure or the family pressure, and you start thinking for yourself. And then you set your own pace for yourself. And I was just an 8-pointer, 8-point plus or something, and Ashish was a consistent 10-pointer. So if Ashish is also saying that there were some things that he didn't like, and he learned to pursue what his passions were. So you can imagine what an 8-pointer like me would have done. 8-point someone, not 5-point someone, 8-point someone.
I learned a lot more from my 8-pointers than from 10. I must say one thing though, sorry. I have had the great fortune to be in the midst of some very bright people, very successful people. But I say this to them. I say, you may be very, very bright, but amongst some of the brightest people I have met, I feel very fortunate. I think back to my IIT class then, and I say I've met other groups that are extremely bright. And as friendships have evolved and as time has passed, what I've realized is that along with just intellectual brilliance, there are so many other elements that go towards making a fulfilling life. One of which is just connections with people. Another one is just sheer luck, actually. Some people are more fortunate, some are not, and some people give back to people in return for the providence that they have. And then, of course, the other element is people are able to understand and realize their passions. And where you understand and realize your passion, you end up doing well. But really, I think it provides a wonderful foundation for sure. I just hope that people in IIT understand and appreciate the good fortune they have and are able to build on it rather than take a sense of entitlement, which I think some of us did. Sorry.
No, it's okay. For me, I feel IIT made me independent and responsible. I entered it at a very nascent age, where
we were all 15, 16.
15, 16 when we entered actually. And it was a good exposure, meeting people coming from various parts of India, and for me, since I was born and brought up in Delhi, so it was very difficult for me to understand that people have studied in their regional languages and they have qualified and they are coming here and they find it sometimes difficult to understand English. So the exposure nowadays is much different than what we used to have in those days. Nowadays, TV and mobile phones, they give a lot of exposure to people. We had very little exposure. And I think that whatever basic education we got here, whatever our professors taught us and it brought us, it made a very good, fulfilling, rich experience, individual in all of us. We learned to, we learned to study at the last moment and still crack our exams. So, this is very important because when you are spending the rest of your life, you don't get time to prepare for everything that comes your way. Right? People ask you, you get very little time to prepare. All that you have to do is you have to think out of the box, and IIT prepares you for that. So, for me, IIT has been a real good foundation, and I find that those who are getting opportunity to study here, they're really lucky and they should make best use of their 4 years here. While they should study hard, they should also participate in other extracurricular activities and make best of their time here.
Wish you the very best.
I'd just like to add to what my friend here said, that I think one thing that IITians should be mindful of is probably that is the way Indian education system is, that you get lost in alpha, beta and cos theta. Whereas the skill in life lies in communication, in how you talk to people, how you relate to them, how you understand their anxieties, their concerns, because ultimately everyone who passes out of IIT will have a leadership role, whether you are in a techie environment or whether you do management and then go on to run some business, unless you are a stock market broker talking to your screen all the time. But otherwise, communication, understanding people, the softer side of life, those things are very important. And perhaps the curriculum and the rigor and the grind of IIT takes you away from all that and makes you a little too much into one groove. And that is something you should come out of.
Totally agree with Rakesh.
That is what is one of the minefields that you should stay clear of. And sometimes I find that, I hire people, people who've done maybe an IIT and an IIM or something like that, and then they come and they say that, I don't want to build models, I just want to solve this thing. So the whole concept there in their mind of an intellectual high is of doing something in an Excel sheet or running a program or something like that. Whereas in real life, you don't write a program every day. But every day you just do the same thing day in, day out, and you have to be able to judge whether things are in control, not in control, where do you take it to the next level, how can you build a more capable team, and there are these undefined questions that you have to grapple with while doing the same thing day in, day out. So that is something I think the IIT doesn't prepare you well. It makes, even if you are an 8-point someone, you still have a hunger for doing a model every day. But that doesn't happen in real life. So that I think there is a need to correct that orientation. And maybe you need a little more courses in humanities and the other aspects of life, which will actually make you a much richer individual, a richer citizen, and someone who takes complete responsibility for the life around you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.